Cheers, Steph. Cheers. But
Good.
I'm so glad I got some left, mate, after we re-recorded it.
Yeah. For context, guys, evening and everyone watching. For context, this is the second time we've had to shoot this video.
Issues for the window.
I think I broke the Wi-Fi from too much swearing, which we're going to come on to.
Rage.
Too
much rage, mate.
But evening. We're going to talk transfer market today, aren't we? We're going to talk.
We are 19 minutes since the window closed officially. Of time of recording. So there you go. We're on it.
I mean, there's a lot to break down from this market. I am visibly, emotionally not happy with how it's finished. And there's a lot to unpick, and I'll try to not swear as much. But it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, where do we start?
I think we start at striker. I do. I think we start straight at striker. Yep, 100%.
I think let's start from how the market started. We ended last season with a very large squad, and obviously a couple loan deals.
Yeah, we had 33, 34 players.
Yeah, huge squad. Obviously, we're in Europe; it's different context. Yeah, João Felix on loan, Tammy Abraham on loan, Kyle Walker on loan. All those players were never going to stay. Yeah, fair enough.
Lots of Futuro as well. We had Florenzi on the books still.
Yeah.
Felix, players like that.
Yeah. And so we knew departures were coming in abundance to 8 or 9 players we had out on loan. Benacer, Pobega, Kalulu, Yassine Adli, Okafor. So we knew a job had to be done from a departure perspective, and I think we probably have to grade incomings and outgoings separately, but equally kind of what's led to the build of this current squad.
But players left.
Yeah, and the alarming thing that we knew from last season was centre back wise, playing a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, or whatever sort of adaptations that we kind of found ourselves playing over the course of 2 coaches. We found ourselves centre back wise weak. We had 4 solid-ish centre backs, but not one that you could sit here and we made videos in the past saying not one of these you could probably pull out and say they're the best centre back out of the group. Yeah,
none of our centre backs are special. No.
Yeah, exactly. They're they're a 6.5 at best from a performance perspective, maybe 7. Yeah, if they have a really good game. But there's no consistency on great performances. There's no leadership there. And then right back wise, we didn't resolve that. We had with Calabria, Emerson Royale, Carl Walker. Left back wise, Teo Hernandez obviously going, rumored to be going because of the issues he had with management. So across the whole back line, investment required. Centre midfield issues galore. Depth wasn't there. Reinder's fantastic season. Fofana had a relatively solid season, I'd say overall, but obviously wasn't contributing from a goals perspective. I think 1 goal, which was he knew nothing about. Mostly assists, but obviously the depth was crap. Loftus-Cheek had an awful year. Musa's horrendous. Warren Bondo, nothing. He didn't, barely even.
He's out on loan now. He's nothing. Yeah.
And then going into attack, Leao obviously kind of not the best of seasons, but still quality player you keep. Pulisic, really great season. And then Santi Jimenez, not an awful half a year after he joined, but certainly wasn't, what was probably initially expected. But then equally, we were awful last year. So, it goes with the territory. So, where'd you build off that? And then what we went into the postseason was obviously a knowing that we needed midfield quality to come in, which we'll come on to. And it was rumored that we're going to be after a centre forward, which then allows question marks to be over what's the future of Santi Jimenez. And then the winger positions, what's the shape, what was going to look like? And I think
it was all coming from that 3-5-2, wasn't it?
Exactly, and as the pre-season manifested, we kind of
it was 3-5-2,
3-5-2, and then a few questions got answered. Salamaker's found his role coming back up from a loan deal. Really good year at Roma, right wing back position.
Yep, agreed.
I don't think anyone's disputing that. And obviously, the first 2 games probably went up there as one of our best players. The way he's so adaptive in playing, left wing back, right wing back. He's obviously played close to Jimenez in that Lecce game. And then it was the investment in the midfield. Ricci came in. Modric was massively rumored. And then how the rest of it's unfolded. And there is so much to go through here. Has been a car crash. has been an absolute car crash in my mind of how they have obviously designed the build of the squad, and massively as well. Massive transfer outbound wise was Tijani Reinders, who was our best player last year, probably joint best player with Pulisic. Huge, but then that was, we're going to make some money, we're going to spend some money, as we did with the Tonali sale many years prior. And I'm going back, and that feels like ages away, doesn't it? The Reinders sale, Modric coming in, Ricci coming in. It feels like we've been on an absolute roller coaster.
I think it's because we have, Steph.
Yeah,
again, in our first recording, we mentioned, we went through this, but we'll touch on it again, obviously, because we're actually recording now. The amount of outgoings and player attrition, like the movement, has been insane. So even
huge.
base level, even if this was amazing in terms of only the bad players left and only good players came in, which isn't what happened, and everything was perfect, there would still be a sense of chaos and like, what the fuck is going on? Because I don't think we've had this level of change. As I said, I actually got the number wrong, but it's 26 different players that were part of our club last year in all different forms are no longer part of our club.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Huge. I mean, you have to play pointless to not think of a name that of like or you can't think that.
Didn't Fellaini say, sorry, Steph, that it wasn't going to be a revolution this summer? He actually verbatim, his words were, "We are not going to." This is the definition of.
Yeah, I've not seen. I've not seen a gutting of a squad.
No,
from an outgoings perspective, and like a lot of the names we completely agree with had to be sold and were sold,
100%.
And there was some very good value for some of these players. Yep. Some obviously being the key word there. Reinders went underneath market value.
Chow went for a great fee.
Yeah, so if you balance it out, so be it. Okafor, I'm happy with the money we got for him.
Me too.
Chukwueze, loan with the right to buy. Musa, loan with the right to buy. Around sort of
the next
27.
big ones were Kalulu and Royale.
Yeah. Royale, great sale. The fact we shifted him off rapidly for about 9 mil back to Brazil. Yeah. Incredible business. I think who else we shifted.
I can tell you, Musa, but loan fee. Pellegrino, we got 4 mil for.
Yeah.
Vega, loan fee. Teo, 25 for Teo, yeah.
And that was one play devil's advocate. Yeah, like we have an upgrade in the position. Year left. Like there's a bit of hindsight 2020 here, but like I think we all kind of performance-wise, we were very sick with how his performance were. None of us had any guarantees he'd get back to the tail of what we saw prior to that. And with a year left, it could have been a very sad end to the story.
Not in this environment as well. Hardly much has changed. Let's be honest. We now look at it.
Yeah,
not much has changed, guys.
Exactly. I completely agree. I mean, other than obviously like Allegri coming in, but like.
So that's why I do want to say the only positive, and this is the only positive I think we're going to be discussing this whole video, is that regardless of how much movement there's been, the outgoings of a lot of players has been good. And I think if Tare hadn't been part of the team, and to a degree, maybe Allegri hadn't been part of the club, I don't think we would have even had that. I don't think we would even have had that.
The excess of it, yeah, no, completely agree. I just question the timing of some of the departures later on.
Agreed.
Some are out. I fully believe Chow wanted to go, and I don't blame him for wanting to go to the Premier League. Wanted to do better for his career, and obviously he was a player that Allegri wanted to keep. It was a really good deal. Win for all parties in context of getting the right player in, but obviously timing wise, awful because we had him for most of pre-season, and Allegri I think looked at him as a starter. The Okafor sale before the Cremonese game, I think once again, like timing, like it just doesn't make sense to me there. And then you essentially then keep Musa and Chukwueze because you learnt your mistake of the loss of the Cremonese game to keep them for the Lecce game. And then we knew Lecce, the game was a couple of days left before the window closed. So you're leaving it all to the last minute. So there was no consistency of it. And it was essentially learning on the spot. And then, Alex Jimenez, another one. Look, if you knew his attitude was shit, get rid of him months before. He didn't take you as get a single yellow card against Cremonese for dissent for you to know that his attitude shit. So, you know what I mean? Like shift him sooner. And now we'll come on to incomings, but we find ourselves ridiculously light, thin, just gaunt as a squad right now going into this season.
It's bizarre. No, Steph, it's bizarre. I mean, I don't think we're across all departments as thin as you're making out. I think when you factor in, 3 competitions being Coppa Italia. No, it's 2 competitions, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
3: Super Cup and the league. But that's not that many more games.
We've been in the
Super Coppa. Yeah, because we won it, didn't we?
Does that mean you have to play in it?
Yeah,
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, we are
I
playing
thought it
it.
was like top 4. I don't even know.
No,
man.
we're playing it, mate. Yeah, so we got that.
Oh.
But listen, that's only 4 games, okay?
Yeah, fair
What
play.
I do agree though, like I think overall, it's weird because actually there are places where we've got too much bloat again now,
Yeah,
i.e. the
yeah.
midfield, with not an idea of what we want to do. But just before we get onto that, I think we are bad in some very key areas, but I'm happy with some of the other depth with the thinning out. The biggest one is fullback and defence. That is absolutely unforgivable. That's the one where I don't think they have a leg to stand on. Even strike, actually, fuck it. No, you're quite right. Fuck that. I'm not even being reasonable. Striker, defence. It's only the midfield. It's actually only the midfield.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. Sorry, I was getting all positive there and think, actually, no.
Honestly,
my head was going, no, that's bad.
It's the pure opposite of what, like, I'm not going to excuse the depth from last season defensively, but like when you play a back 4 and you're like, you know what, you play 2 of them, so be it. Yeah, you get through it. We've shifted to a back. I mean, let's just go straight into it. We've shifted to a back 3 formation. Fine. We need more defensive coverage. These centre backs are clearly not good enough in the back 2. It's a different lens to it. We can play a bit more deeper and work our way back from a counter attack. Like, it all made sense to me. But if you know you're playing a back 3 and you know that from July, then you fucking invest in centre backs and you invest in centre backs with quality. And we sat here. Allegri asked for it a couple of weeks, after the Cremonese game. He needs a centre-back with experience. He needs a centre-back who can lead this line. He needs a centre-back who can distribute and play through the back line. He doesn't need klutzes like Pavlovic. He doesn't need klutzes like Tomori. And like De Winter, I think it's a good signing from a depth perspective. It's not the fucking, the Hail Mary signing you make in the defence to replace Malik Chow. Malik Chow, good. I've got my issues with him defensively, but he was a good passer. And at best, it's a like for like. But the issue that we fucking knew, and as we make this video, who was going to come in, who was going to be the 5th man, because obviously Pavlovic, Gabbia, Tomori, De Winter, who's the 5th man? Who's the guy who should be coming straight in? Atakame, he's supposed to be a fucking right back anyway. Like, I'll come on to that.
It's our deadline day signing, Odogu.
This
Odogu.
This is a calamity of the highest regard.
David Odogu.
It's a mockery, an absolute mockery. The names we were linked to, fucking illusionally linked with towards the end of the market. Akanji, he's now gone to fucking Inter Milan.
Yeah,
he's gone to Inter Milan, our rivals. That is.
And you know how good he's going to be?
Exactly.
He's going to be fucking great.
They identified an issue. They lost to Udinese. They bring in Akanji. Job done. And the money
and
he's
we
on
did
is
all the hard work for them as well.
Yeah.
We knew he wanted to come to Italy. He wanted Champions League football. There you go. Have him. Signed, sealed, delivered.
I guarantee you, and he did not scoff at the deal because of Milan. He scoffed at it because of the money that was probably being offered. It was undervaluing. And and if we were a serious club, which we are not, because of the rats who fucking run it, the CEO Fulani, they did not. They were thinking like, nah, intrinsic value is not worth that much. You got an issue at centre back. You deal with it. It's a short-term solution. It's plastering over a massive crack. You deal with it because you invest to get yourself back into Europe. That then appeals more players to come in, and it gets you financial revenue coming into the club. They are rolling the dice again as they rolled the dice last season because they thought it's good enough.
Every single time.
And then we'll have the same shit next year. The centre-back situation for this club in this summer has been a mockery to fans and to Max Allegri. They are going to roll the dice with these klutzes in the back line and learn the hard way. That is what, and we'll come on to the wing backs and we'll come on to the striker situation. But that position in itself
is awful.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Clean sheet.
It's the one position.
Great. But
this one position so much we needed.
Better. Yeah.
I would argue. Even more so than a striker, because I think this might be jumping too many tangents, but I think Allegri's going to be playing Leao up front, or Leao is going to start becoming more of a forward. I'm convinced of it. I think we all are coming to that conclusion.
Yeah.
So we need a centre back.
Yeah.
As you just said, we do not have enough. If we're adamant on playing 5 at the back, where we need 3 centre backs, you need at least one more that is ready. Always, and whether that's one of the others coming off on the bench, you need 3 starter centre backs.